from Julio Cruz and Gaylord Perry to Alvin Davis and Harold Reynolds to father and son back-to-back bombs, from Junior J, Joey, and Edgar with Randy, A-Rod, Dan, and the Sheriff, to Ichiro Moyer and Mikey C, to King Felix, Kyle Cruz, and Cano, to the present with Julio, Gilbert, Kirby, and Cal. I don't believe it. It just continues. My, oh my, it's another sports podcast. My, oh my, it's another sports podcast. We got to give a huge shout out to super producer Indy out there in Nashville, Tennessee, rocking the ones and twos. That's Vaden Podcast Services. Vaden Podcast Services. They bring the show to life. Got to give a huge shout out to all the homies in the live chat. We're coming a little bit later, just like we said last week. We would turn on the live button as soon as the Mariners Mets game end. It was a fantastic show. I love how all the little ball players get to interact with the big leaguers, but we got to be kind of serious here. I got to give the biggest shout out to my man RG, the best co-host a dude could ask for. He is on that grave shift trying to buy him a spaceship and fly. So you might see this guy cheering on the Reds in the fall. You're going to hear him singing the sweet music of Rocky Top. Blake, what's going on, man?
How is it going? It's been a little bit. And the Reds have turned it around. So I've got some stuff to cheer for this fall. That's for sure. How have you been?
Oh, great. You know, the Mariners shocked us, as you might see, and as any baseball fan knows, they actually were aggressive at the trade deadline. That goes against some of their franchise history.
Yeah.
But from the outside looking in, they're kind of a hot topic, trendy pick right now. I want to get your outside perspective on whatever you've seen from the Mariners this year, and probably including the outstanding catcher.
You took the words out of my mouth first. Cal Raleigh is the first thing that you think of now. It's very clear that is the kind of the new shiny thing right now for the MLB. To kind of show. And tonight it looked like he was like their only glimmer. When I was keeping up with it, knowing I was going to be here on the pod tonight. So it had that. It was a two run homer to bring 3 runs on the board there, and then in the ninth, you can count on him to be, kind of somebody to lean on. Still got a single there. So, Raleigh is what I hear a lot about, and it looks like you guys are. I remember talking before, and we were hoping. Just praying to claw and get above the rest of the division, and now it looks like we're sitting pretty good. So the Mariners are kind of a dark horse over there in the AL, in my opinion. And as a Reds fan, I'm just lucky to kind of go and play ball there this year. I think that we've got some good pitching coming up in our system right now. Chase Burns is on kind of a rehab assignment for 15 days there on that 15-day IL, but he'll be back. I think that we're good to compete in the next couple years, but if we get a little aggressive, but looks like that Mariners window is here. It looks like it's opening up.
Yeah, no doubt. So it's come to light recently, and sometimes you need to see things from a GM's perspective, and the Mariners front office might have gotten a dose of reality this year, Blake, because George Kirby didn't even start the year with the team. He missed the first couple months altogether. Logan Gilbert goes on the injured list. Bryce Miller was only able to make a handful of starts before he went on the injured list. And you said the key word that me and RG love to talk about, your window, man, because the window in all pro sports is way quicker to close than we ever want to realize. The Mariners might have dilly-dallied and missed some of their window, in my opinion, already, Blake, because how often do you have a really dynamic top 5 rotation where none of the guys are getting injured. The Mariners had that great luck for a couple years in a row and did not make the
Mhm.
playoffs. Now the team is more balanced, so I'm just pumped about that. Let's flip the tables really quick then, because your favorite team, the Cincinnati Reds,
Yeah.
they surprised me. I didn't think they were having much of a season, but they're not a very sexy team on the national stage. They're only one game behind in the NL wild card. What's going on with those guys?
Man, it has been a roller coaster. At first, when it came towards the All-Star break, we were fighting just to get to 500, and it was quite a fight. But then something kind of just clicked. We won 3 or 4 series on the road, and we had that horrible disaster. I'm sure that you've seen that NASCAR, that Super Speedway Classic that they over there in Daytona, where it rained out day one, and
Mhm.
that I hear day two was a disaster over there. But nonetheless, we lost the Daytona game. But after that, we kind of had some fairly good success. We ended up playing the Cubs and beat the Cubs in a series and split one with the Pirates. And then same thing with the Phillies. We beat the Phillies. So coming into Friday night, like we were talking beforehand, we were a half game back, and it looked like, oh my goodness, this weekend it may say that the Cincinnati Reds are in the playoffs if the season stopped today, if you stop the count, so to speak. But they unfortunately screwed the pooch on Friday. Blew an 8-1 lead, and within 2 innings, it evaporated. So that game was a lost cause. So. But the Mariners took care of business for us. They ended up beating the Mets, so we stayed within distance. And But then unfortunately on Saturday we didn't do any better. In the ninth, we blow a perfect opportunity to close out the game with a throwing error from
Oh
Elliot De La Cruz over
God.
there at shortstop to first, and unfortunately it gets that tying run in. We go into extras and lose. Today, I thought the writing was on the wall for us to go into a skid. The hottest team in baseball, the Milwaukee Brewers, who are the Nashville Sounds AAA affiliate over here. I kind of have a love hate relationship with them. I love going to see the Sounds, but unfortunately, they're the Brewers. But I kind of just keep an eye on them and hope maybe they don't do so well. But only good when I go there to the games. But when yeah, we squeaked one out today. We'll say we pulled a victory out from the jaws of defeat. So it was good to get back to that one game. Now we can move on, and we've just got the Angels to worry about this week.
Okay. Well, big market teams help drive the business for the ratings, but just as a pure fan of baseball, it's always fun to see some of these small market teams make moves and make pushes, Blake. So we're going to try to hold it down for your Cincinnati Reds out there.
I,
Mariners
I
lifer was
appreciate
supremely
it.
confident, dude. I got to ask you, man, what's up with the New York Mets though? They lost about 14 out of 16 games and I was still extremely worried because to me, that's still a supremely talented team that could still
Yeah.
possibly win the World Series. Sunday evening media is telling us, and this is how it feels like right now. Teams are getting right against the Mariners, man. And I guess I'm just gonna say this: talent is always going to find its way again, man. This is baseball. You're gonna have some really shitty streaks now and then.
Mhm. Absolutely, yeah. The Mets, yeah. I was so excited to see. It looked like they had won one out of their last 10 ball games, and going into that Mariners game, and I was hoping that the M's could take care of business and get a sweep. And it looked very good to start out, but as you know, yeah, baseball, it can change in the blink of an eye. So I was hoping they could come back and rally today so that we could go ahead and even it out with the Mets. But we've got a series with them later on in September. So, if they haven't already pulled away and distanced themselves more by then, it should make for some interesting September baseball. It'll be a weekend series as well. So, I hope that we have maybe beat them by that point in the standings, but we'll see. It looks like if I look at the standings, yeah, early September, that first weekend in September, right when football season is getting underway.
That's one of my favorite times of year, man, where we have the intersection of late season baseball and early season football. Well, maybe my favorite time on the sports calendar is that intersection there. We still have good weather also, so that keeps you
Yep.
in a great mood, man. But I got a question for you then. I want to look at Tyson's Baltimore Orioles for a minute. They've had a shitty season overall. They had a horrendous start, but they've actually been pretty decent in the last 20, 30 games or so. A very talented team. The Mariners were supposed to win that series on paper. Baltimore takes it to the Mariners 2-1, and I like to dig
Mm.
up a couple nuggets, bro. So I want you to look at this. The Mariners in game one versus the Mets in Queens had an 11-run outburst, but on the week, bro, the vaunted lineup in air quotes, because it wasn't very vaunted, they absolutely struggled. My wonderful Mariners scored 2.2 runs per game in 5 of the games on the week. You know that's not going to get it done against anybody, and it's disappointing to see after all these trades.
Yeah, no, it's not going to get it done. In the Reds have faced similar droughts of offense. We will have outstanding pitching, but you can't expect your guys to hold it down for less than 2 runs in a professional baseball game. It's just not gonna cut it when you got good hitters on the other side. So, yeah, the Orioles were. A laughing stock. It seemed like to start the season. It was like, oh my goodness, they can't buy a win. But as you mentioned it, I went and looked at the stand, and you're right. They kind of have climbed out of the gutter. It looks like just a little bit, and maybe are breathing a little bit of air now. Not maybe they're not going to get close to catching that wild card, but one could hope. Tell them I hope that it happens just for his sake,
Mhm.
as long as it's not at the expense of the Mariners.
Well, here's the
Yeah.
real thing, dude. The young talent's there. I mean,
Mhm.
granted, Baltimore traded their whole bullpen. They traded nearly every veteran they have, but they have high ceiling young talent, and that makes me excited about any ball club, even if they've had a really tough year record wise. That means there's something to look forward to on the horizon. Speaking of young talent, we know Ellie De La Cruz is a major league superstar, but I know there's a couple of other young players I really like on Cincinnati. Talk to me about a couple of these homegrown studs that the Reds have been able to develop in the last couple years.
Well, my favorite right now is got to be Marte. Just over the last little bit, Marte has been hitting outstanding and
Mm.
has come in so clutch. No, Noel V. Marte.
Oh, we know.
Yeah, exactly. So he's doing a little DH for us ever since we got Brian Hayes over from Pittsburgh in that trade recently. He's been holding down third base. So Marte has really been in a DH spot a lot for us. But I love him. But also, really, Will Benson. Now they've sent him down to AAA and brought him up tonight, and he ended up reaching on an error, and it actually extended the game for us today. So but it was a blessing to call him up today of all times. People have been clamoring for him. He looked like he was hitting the ball fairly good, and his fielding is really the thing that has kept him from playing. So it's been a lot of pinch hit spots, but he's come in really clutch at some point. So it's hard to keep a guy like that from hitting whenever every time you put him in, he's finding a way to get to first base at least.
Okay. I know that you have a pretty good grasp on baseball history, so I know a lot of Mariners fans saw this on the local broadcast. I don't know how
Mhm.
big it's gone nationally, dude, but you got to check out this nugget. Brian Wu this week became the second pitcher since 1893 with 6 innings pitched and two or few walks in his first 24 starts. It's been 120 years since a pitcher has started out like this, and it was a guy named Cy Young. I'm
Yeah.
talking, it's been 120 years, and the man he did this with is Cy Young. Brian Wu, all the props in the world. Just give me any perspective that you may have on such an incredible accomplishment when you see how rare it has been
Oh,
done in baseball.
when you're doing stuff that's named after the gentleman that the best pitcher is award is named after, we've entered a totally different conversations. It's very hard just because I know from trying to throw strikes myself, just as an average guy, that you can't do it. But watching professionals do it and getting mad at them while I'm watching them and not be able to do it, it's hard to not throw strikes or throw consistent strikes every time, and keep guys battling in there. I mean, two or less walks in 6 innings or more in the first. Would you say 24 starts? Is that correct?
24 starts in a row, yeah, to start the
Oh my,
season.
oh my, oh my goodness! I mean, that's crazy. 120 20 years of baseball, and that hasn't been done. 120. Well, I guess that would be five because you said 1898. Oh my goodness, that's ridiculous. Yeah, when we're talking about stuff that has been done right after the baseball has become a sport, pretty much, the old Redlegs have kicked up as the America's first professional team, then we're in a totally different category of crazy.
You want to know what else is really crazy about this is Brian Wu is using his four seamer or his sinker basically 80% of the time.
And I mean, having something to just lean on all the way through and not be able to get a hold of it is crazy. How old is he?
I'm not even exactly sure. Mid 20s. I'll be able to get that in one sec
Okay,
here,
yeah.
but I gotta give it to the my buddies on the live chat. Mariners Lifer. Can
Mm.
I get a Brian? Woo! He is filthy, and that really is crazy though. What he's able to maintain that sort of consistency,
Yeah,
throwing an off-speed pitch only 20% of the time. That's pretty
gosh,
wild, and he is only 25 years old.
gosh. I mean, yeah, that is. I mean, that is wild. To lean on to lean on your fastballs and not really have to go to the off speed that much and just bring it in just when you need it is it's kind of something you really don't see as much. You see guys trying to, I mean, show what they got. How much break can I get on this curve here? Or let me see if I can slide this into the corners. But if you can just paint the corners and hit the black, it's an art form.
Mm. Yeah, great point. Great point. There's only one guy in this category, but the obvious is Greg Maddux coming to mind with absolute
Mhm.
surgeon precision pitching out there. I just want to kind of hit on something really quick though too. Just exclamation, I guess, basically about the Seattle Mariners, and this is where they need to go right now, bro, because the team is 11th in runs per game. They're fourth in home runs per game, but this
Yeah,
team has the third most left on base per game, and there's only five teams with a worse average with runners in scoring position. So, moral of the story, the Mariners have actually had a pretty decent year at the dish, but they're leaving a ton of meat on the bone, man. And I need to see my Mariners pick it up. Me and RG feel like we bitch about this every week. But at this point in the season, we have a big enough sample size to me, Blake, where these trends in the numbers are starting to become real to me because of the amount of games played.
And and it just becomes frustrating. I mean, to like see it to see with 2 outs, a fly ball to deep center, but and you're going to watch that guy run from third and touch home plates, but there's not going to be a number one that's going to be added to the scoreboard there, and to see that happen over and over is pretty crazy. It frustrates me, when you're trying to put together a run and I mean, it's the third, we'll say the that middle third or that first third of the game, innings 1 through 3 or 4 through 6, and that you need more than one run right now, and you got one across, and you got runners on the corners, but if you can't push, I mean, those other three, you know that there's good hitters on the other side. 2 runs ain't going to win this. We need 4 in this inning, or we need 3 in this inning to really feel, we'll say, comfortable, quote unquote.
Yeah, and I'm with Mariners Life for here. The Mariners have lacked the clutch gene, minus Cal, of course. It's frustrating, but at least the Mariners, it's been a really frustrating week, dude. It's a 2-5 record where with a couple of blowouts and a pretty anemic offense minus one game. But as tough as it's been, man, the Mariners are only a game and a half out of first in the AL West. They're still tied for the top wild card seed in the AL. So we need to turn it around, but not so fast, my friend. Shit, dude. The Mariners finished this road trip with 3 at Philadelphia with 3 really damn good left-handed starters. And to top it off, Blake, the Mariners lineup against lefties is a lot worse on paper than the one against righties.
Yeah, we just ended up taking on the Phillies, and while we did take on 2 or 3 from them, it seemed like we were fortunate to catch Schwarber in a little bit of a slump there, and he busted out of it one night to get a win. So him and unfortunately Bryce Harper made us pay one night, but we kept them in containment. So their offense can bust out at any time, and if you're going to face three lefties like that, and that's what the stats are showing, then we're going to have to maybe come up big in some pinch hitting spots. We're going to have to come up big in the clutch, other than a guy that is named Cal Raleigh.
I just want to rewind a little bit because the name you brought up surprised me a little bit, but how do Red fans, now that we have a few years of ball to see what happened, how do the Reds feel about that Luis Castillo and prospect package, which Marte was the prize piece of?
I would say fairly well. Now, as I was kind of mentioning earlier, he's not playing much third base for us, which is primarily what kind of we wanted there. But you get a Gold Glover like Brian Hayes at the line there, and move him over to hitting some clutch spots and try to work him. They're trying to work him into the outfield. Is what's been in some spots once they get him out there. So in some pinch hitting spots, or he's actually been in the lineup there a couple times. So we'll see if that kind of stays and is very profitable. But for right now, for being just a game out of the wild card, and having a guy like that, I'm very satisfied. The thing I'm looking, kind of at right now is that Mr. De La Cruz is in a little bit of a slump for us, and we need him to get hot here at late August and September if we want to have any chance at playing some October baseball.
Okay. Well, I'm pumped, man. It's great to see that the Reds are doing some things. A buddy of mine that I haven't seen basically since high school has actually been with that organization. So I've been just cheering for the Reds from afar, just for a little, hometown camaraderie, I guess I would say.
Yeah,
Mariners Lifer says our boy Bryce Miller's coming back from the injured list and pitching on Tuesday. That's what I saw too. If
nice.
we can get Bryce Miller of 2024 back, this whole rotation changes really, really quickly. I'm pumped right now, man. I, sometimes there's a reason that I can get a little bit worried about my opponent, Blake, because when I
Mhm.
was sitting here last week, I call this a really daunting road trip. It's proven to be that. And then to top it off, and I want to just put this in perspective, you're gonna laugh at this. In the Pacific Northwest and Western Washington, we've had a temperature in the 90s maybe 4, 5, 6 times this year. And so
Oh my
sometimes
gosh.
when the Seattle Mariners travel to some of these other places where it can be very hot, very humid. Apparently, Baltimore was just sticky, sticky, sweaty, wet. I know Tennessee could be as bad as anywhere. So sometimes the Mariners get used to this natural Pacific air conditioning, so to speak, and struggle on some of these road trips. Nonetheless, bro, they got to flip the script, and Philly is no easy team to do that against. Let's get it, baby. It's time to really turn it up. It's time to turn it up, man.
So we are in the driver's seat to go to the playoffs, but we want to take that division there. It kind of the Reds and Mariners are a little bit on not opposite sides or opposite sides of the wild card. But you guys are fighting to get in that division spot. We're fighting just to play to be invited to the party. So. But I'm hoping, just for your sake, that we can go ahead and clinch a spot here in the postseason here in the next few weeks. We'll get that mathematics worked out for us, and then we've got a few game lead on the Astros there. I haven't taken a look at the Mariners schedule. When's the next time that they're going to play that team down there from Houston?
I think it's going to be pretty late in the season. So, God, they're all there. It's always a great series, and here we go. Houston, yeah, towards the end of the season, there'll be the
Uh,
third to last series of the season, and it will
okay.
be at Houston. And then just a little bit of baseball schedule comedy for you, Blick. The Mariners finished the season with the Rockies at home and then the Dodgers at home. So you're talking about getting two ends of the spectrum to finish out 162.
Oh man, the Rockies, gosh, them and then the Dodgers. I mean, hopefully we can maybe get some guys healthy and still catch some W's, or have the division locked up by then. We just won the division over the Astros and put some distance between us, and then we can get ready for the playoffs or getting better seeds. That's what I'm hoping for you. That we can focus on the Dodgers on that last series there. So, gosh, I feel the Vols, Tennessee Vols, have an outfielder that plays over there that for the Rockies, Mr. Jordan Beck. So I kept keep up with him from time to time just for him, because unfortunately there's nothing else that you could really want to watch the Rockies for unless you were from Colorado and rooting for them forever.
Oh, man. 35 and 89. Dude, that's got to be freaking miserable.
35 wins, and we are halfway through August. I mean, gosh, that is crazy. The Reds almost lost the series to them, unfortunately.
Hey, man.
Excuse me.
Hey, Blake, sometimes the live chat speaks, and I know that you bleed that orange, man. You love singing Rocky Top on a victorious Saturday. What is Texas Power Ranger talking about? Who is this Bamboo Carter guy?
Bamboo Carter. Okay. Mr. If I hear him correctly, he's got to be talking about Boo Carter. He is
Oh yeah. Okay.
he
Okay.
won miss he won he's an athlete out of Chattanooga, out of Southern Tennessee, and right there on the border to Georgia. He won Mr. Football his senior year, committed to Tennessee, and started playing his freshman year, playing nickel for us. Boo Carter, it was, I mean, outstanding, and people have been clamoring for him to play on the offensive side of the ball, because I mean, he was dynamic with it in high school, and
Hmm.
seeing how much success that people are going to have with that, with the guy who just won the Heisman. So it looked like there was. Just as you may or may not know, the NIL stuff, it can't be 100% confirmed, but
Hmm.
the rumors are is that he got a little bit of a pay increase to play on the offensive side of the ball. Well, yeah, this off season there was some stuff being talked about Boo Carter. It was not showing up to team activities with the rest of the veterans, and he wasn't there at the facility. But it looks like, as from the post have shown, is that he has worked his way back into the good graces on the team. So um, uh, I'm kind of in the mindset now to just show me who is on the roster when we kick off against Syracuse in the orange and white, and those are the guys I'm going to root for this year.
Hmm. Okay, let's just get into it a little bit as a whole then. So the Texas Longhorns preseason number 1. I don't know how much I really buy the preseason polls regardless, but they're here. So we got to deal with it. Texas is number 1. Tennessee, I want to say, is 23, 24, somewhere in that range. You still got
Yep.
Ohio State. People are high on Penn State. Tennessee, we know they're going to have a respectable year, Blake. How respectable will it be? Will it be a mid-level bowl, or do you think this team can try to compete to make the college football playoff again?
You know, if you're asking me today in the middle of August, I'm going to say that our ceiling is just scraping into that college football playoff, and our
Okay.
floor would be maybe a 7-5 ball club.
Mm,
And I think that our defense, similar to last year, is probably going to be carrying us a lot. And we don't have quite the defensive front that we had last season, with
hmm.
James Pierce being gone off that off defensive line, Mr. Omar Norman Lott being
Yep.
gone off the defensive line, and then you've also got a guy that was a real leader on the line in oh my goodness, big Amari Thomas, as well. They called him Big O. So kind of veteran guys are going to be gone, but we have some real, I mean, good talent.
Mm,
And Roddy Banks, defense lines coach, I know that he's going to have them locked in. So but it is that quarterback question mark. We've got Joey Aguilar was announced today, just about an hour or two ago, that he was going to be starting quarterback to start off the season there. So that transfer from App State to UCLA to Tennessee. So
oh shit.
we'll see. Yeah, it was some people are calling it the first trade in the college football history. Nico for Aguilar. So we'll see how it goes. I wish nothing but the best for Aguilar. I really like the kid. It looks like he's got a lot of moxie, but he did like to throw a lot of interceptions over there at App State. So we'll
Mm,
see how that works in the SEC.
okay. The one thing I would say, just as a lover of college football in the Pacific Northwest, is I feel that Josh Heupel gets whoever he has at quarterback to play some level of quality football. Tyson Baxter's asking, I can't pronounce his name, but what did you think of the whole Nico saga then in this transfer portal season?
Oh, gosh, immediately, I was refereeing some youth soccer at the time, and I heard that he was leaving after the initial drama. And for a split second, I was a little bit upset. I was like, man, how could you ever want to leave? Knoxville is so cool. I mean, you're living there and you got your family, but then I kind of, was like, you know what, just I kind of just go ahead and do what you want to do. That it kind of been a headache for the last week or so. That all the rumors and stuff. I was like,
Hmm.
I don't even care anymore. But I had to a little bit of kind of a reflection, thinking back, and I was like, you know what? It seems like his dad may have been it really the main instigator in all of the negotiations, talking about money from Tennessee from the beginning. It was reported he was getting $8 million over that 4 year period to come and play ball for us. It was, and the first year it was $2 million reportedly just to sit on the bench and not take any snaps, but in some garbage time and have a redshirt freshman year. And I thought, you know what, Nico may have never wanted to come to Knoxville in the first place. It may have been just his dad saying, "No, you're going to go to Knoxville. They're paying us $8 million, buddy." And then he, after some time, was like, "You know what? I really want to go to UCLA. It's where I really wanted to go to from the beginning. I like it here, but I may love it there." And if that's the case, I wish nothing but the best for him. If it was a money grab and it was but for that, then we'll. I say I kind of don't wish the best for him, but we'll I kind of maybe hate watching some UCLA football this year if that was the case. But I hope it was the former, not the latter.
Okay, okay. I want to close the book on that in a minute here, dude, but I just had to look it up, and I think we're guessing that it may have been a pay decrease for him to go to UCLA. We know it's a prestige decrease to go from
Yep.
Tennessee to UCLA. But this is
Mhm.
where we just need these young men to get better advice about where they're really at on the team and where they're at relative to the competition across all of college football, Blake, because according to the NCAA, about 46% of the FBS players who entered the recent portal cycle did not end up getting a transfer to a new school. So I am good. I know no, everyone needs to do their own thing and what they think is best for their families, but these guys really need to be careful, man, because a lot of these young men are getting really bad advice and they're losing their opportunity at the scholarship. They're losing an opportunity to play football, and if you lose those two things, you literally have zero chance of making a pro team. So I really hope these guys, and I fully support them transferring and doing what they think is best for them. But I'm also saying be very careful, man. 46% of the guys in the recent cycle did not get signed for a scholarship on a new team.
Gosh, I mean, when we're talking, I mean, fairly close to half. I mean, the people that are entering the portal. I mean, that is extraordinary. I'm sure. I mean, 100% sure. If you looked at transfer numbers, but when kids were required to sit out for a season, if you were going to another school, then that it was extraordinarily low. And also, what I think this is probably going to end up doing is killing some of the walk-on players that you have, the guys that stayed for that stayed and walked on to a school and then earned a scholarship and let because it seems like they're just gonna well if I yeah, I can go to XYZ school that's so much smaller. They say they're offering me something. Well, the next thing you know, someone else a little bit better than them entered the portal, and now you're kind of like a bird with no nest. You got nowhere to fly to. So but we're just kind of stuck out there in the wind. Yeah, you're right. Something needs to be done about it. It is the Wild West right now, and that makes the off season very painful. But you kick off on Saturdays on this week zero that's coming up Saturday, it's going to be it's going to be all better for at least once the balls are kicked off and that clock starts.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, the first game of the year, I guess it's not the first game of the year, but the first big noon game of the year, Texas at Ohio State. It doesn't get bigger than that. I absolutely can't wait, man. So you were talking We were just talking about the transfer portal, guys being on multiple teams, which has kind of become the new norm. And I was just saying how they need to be so careful. Now, let's flip it completely the other way. And I want to stir the pot a little bit with an AFC South bickering here, bro. But Cam Ward is the most shining example of how you can play the transfer portal perfectly. A 0-star that goes to Incarnate Word. Then he goes to
Mhm.
Washington State out there in Pullman, Washington. It's 10 minutes from Idaho. It's way closer to Idaho than Seattle. Then he goes down to the prestigious Miami, becomes the Heisman Trophy winner, becomes the first pick of the draft, working the transfer portal to perfection. And now he is your franchise hopeful at quarterback. Talk to me about the Titans and Cam Ward.
Man, yeah, I'm not sure that you could find a better example of someone using the portal to their absolute maximum ability that you can in good graces than him or maybe Joe Burrow, but that's probably about it. But yeah, I'm excited for for just watching Cam Ward this year. The Titans, as a whole, maybe not so much so. This roster has got so many holes they need to fill. It is depleted. We have a offensive line, a front five that seems like that they're going to be set, but as you know, it takes time for O lines to mend together. We've got fairly, I mean, very, very young receiving core outside of Calvin Ridley and Tyler Lockett, and you can't expect those two guys to remain perfectly healthy for 17 games of professional football. So outside of that, you're looking at a real old Van Jefferson and a couple of rookies with undrafted Xavier Restrepo, who may not even make the team. We'll find out. So we are looking forward to Cam Ward and seeing that he does well. My greatest fear is that the Titans are going 3-14 this year. Again, Mr. Brian Callahan is fired with 4 games to go in the year, and Cam Ward starts over with another head coach and a whole new system, and we are resetting the clock again. That seems to be the tune that the NFL plays these days with highly drafted quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm 100% for stability. It's got to be drastic measures for me to want to fire a coach, especially with the young quarterback. And I did intentionally want to stir the pot here in Texas Power, telling you that the Texans are your daddy. Oh my God. But
Yeah.
I really like the Houston Texans, man. I think CJ Stroud will probably have a bounce back year. He has all the skills to, but if you don't have a good offensive line at any level of football, I don't know how many wins you can stack up. The Houston Texans are fantastic across the board, except the O-line. So we'll see how that plays out, man. God,
I
I'm
was
pumped for
surprised
football,
that
though.
them that trade to Washington. I was very surprised that they
Yes.
were that they were ready to let him go. I was like, well, okay, well, I thought that he had maybe a year or two left. You got C.J. Stroud on. This is going into year 3 now. You probably want a little bit more there, but I reckon not. So, yeah, the Texans, tell him he can. They've got the record on us, but we'll always have those Oilers uniforms. If they ever want to look at them, they go over to the Tennessee Titans website and check them out.
Oh shit! I didn't even put 2 and 2 together yet.
Yeah.
The Tennessee Titans are the Houston Oilers. Oh, I'd be all
Yep.
sorts of fired. Dude, Texas Power feels the way I feel about the OKC Thunder, man. That's what's up.
Oh my
Fuck them.
gosh, yes. I wonder how the people in Seattle felt. I was kind of curious about that, how the people in Seattle felt after this last NBA Finals.
Not nearly as angry as I thought I would be, but so here's what happens is OKC is always wanting to include their Sonics history. NBA 2K, the video game series, puts Gary and Sean and Detlef and Slick, Watts, and all the famous Sonics. They put them in the OKC blue. Y'all, that's your title. Enjoy it. Now
Yeah.
stop trying to steal our Sonic shit. I don't even want to hear, like, that's us. That's you. Good for you, OKC. But I'm absolutely pumped and wishing Cam Ward the best. I just have one more question about your Titans in one statement.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Simmons, absolute monster. Real ones know it. And then Tyler Lockett. He is not the explosive player he once was, but do you still think that he's got enough juice left to be a steady veteran presence for a young QB?
It seemed like it on our first preseason game, and what I'd seen so far in the practices that were made to the public there, that him and Lockett seem to be that fine. He looks to be that safety blanket that a guy may have on third, and we got to get to the sticks, 8 yards, third and six. We've got to have something. I hope that he can stay healthy all year. It looks like he'd been healthy all his career, and then had just missed some time very late here recently. So as long as that was just a kind of just a one-off little stint, we'll be fine. But I'm hoping that Mr. Lockett is somewhere in the ballpark of 800 to 1,000 yards, and
Oh,
Calvin
wow.
Ridley is over 1,000 yards. Is what I would hope. Maybe we can look at 600 to 800 if one of our rookie receivers takes a jump this year, and Timray DK or in Elikayo Manor. So he could. I could afford to have him at that 550, but 680, something like that. If one of those guys can pick up the slack.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. That's a bigger number than I thought you would say for Tyler, but there might be some really, really big play potential in there because there's two things I really know about the passing game for the Titans. Tyler Lockett and Cam Ward both excel in the scramble drill. We might see some backyard highlights a few times this year with those two guys.
Yeah, I love watching those highlights of Tyler Lockett. It's when it's the plays broken down, and he catches and runs, and he does so well at avoiding contact and getting down. It's like an art form where he's just running, finds some open space, and he gets down with the ball and the green. It's a first down. So I'm hoping we can see a lot of that this year. Cam Ward seemed to do some really good things with that at Miami, and it seemed like sometimes it turned into disaster for him. But it cannot be more disastrous than the gentleman from Kentucky put us through, Mr. Will Levis. So
Oof.
anything's got to be better than what that guy was giving us.
Well, I gotta give it to Texas Power, man. He has come through with the comment of the year so far, saying that he dislikes the Houston Texans and Osama bin Laden. That is the sports hate that I fucking love, baby.
Yeah. And
Shit,
Osama,
man.
that's the two good things to hate.
Dude, it's been real, man. I'm so glad we were able to get you back on. It's been a while, and I love your knowledge of baseball, your love of college football, and it is also just fun to get a completely different perspective. All of us have our favorite teams. All of us watch leagues across the board. So I just find it so fun and informative to just get a perspective from someone in a different corner of this wonderful country. So thank you so much, man.
I appreciate you guys having me on. It's always a blast. Great timing too for being a Reds fan and being a Mariners fan, and having this series, at least from my end, just rooting for the Ibs. I was watching them regardless whether I was going to be on here or not, just hoping they were going to take over these Mets. But Yeah, we are. We got to do it some other time. Maybe if both of our teams there in the postseason. I'm fairly confident you guys are. I'm hopeful that we are. So, if we're both there in the postseason, we got to do this again.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Well, y'all know, my oh my, it's another sports podcast. Gotta give a huge shout out to our friends at Romantic About Baseball, a fantastic follow on Facebook. They've put together the Baseball Lovers Alliance. That's several great listens. Find them wherever you listen to your podcast. That's Romantic About Baseball. Great, great, great follow. Got to give a huge shout out to my main man, Indy, out in Nashville, Tennessee. Thank you so much to Vaden Podcast Services. That's Vaden Podcast Services. Oh, baby, one more time, Sunday Evening Media. Yes, I saw the Jalen Milroe push tush. I absolutely loved it. Got to give a huge shout out now to Saubert, number 81, the Seahawks third string tight end with key blocks to spring touchdowns. I know it's just preseason. We didn't even get into it, but I'll say that for RG. The Seahawks are going to surprise some people this year. Watch. Oh, man. I'm so pumped about the live chat tonight. Y'all bring it. We appreciate it so much. But the biggest thank you goes out to my main man, RG. He is on that grave shift trying to buy him a spaceship and fly. The best co-host a dude can ask for. My, oh my, it's another sports podcast. Get at us, people.